What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Pivotal Moments. Ravens pick up the win, defeating the Bucks 41-31. Definitely enjoyed watching this game. From an offensive standpoint, obviously, the Ravens did things that had a lot of people in the national media and, fans of the National Football League who don't get to really see the Ravens on a week-to-week basis. They were left in awe. I mean, these are things that we've seen in Baltimore for many years, and some of this just have been amplified because of the presence of Derrick Henry. We'll touch on the offense in a little bit. I like to do defense first because, let's be honest, the defense hasn't played very well this year, and I like to get the bad news out of the way first. Now, it's not all bad. The Ravens defense did play better this game. A lot of things that I asked to see from the defense on the podcast this week came to fruition and definitely played a little more aggressive. You can even see here, Brandon Stephens is lined up with Mike Evans. And it is 10, 15 yards back. There are times where you need to do that, where you can have the corner here. But for the most part, get in the guy's face. Don't be afraid. But what remains to be an issue with this team, and some of this is on the players, some of this is on Zachary Orr, communication continues to lack in pivotal moments, especially in the red zone, where you can't have mistakes. The Bucs know that the defense is struggling with communication and understanding what the offense is doing, understanding what the job of yourself is, as well as the other 10 guys on the field wearing your jersey. So what did the Bucs do here? They put Sterling in motion. Number 17, their wide receiver. And when you put a receiver in motion, if you're a Ravens fan, panic. Because when you put a receiver in motion, 9 times out of 10, the defense has to adjust. You have to adjust to what they're doing. You have to understand what the Bucs are trying to do. And they don't do a good job here. Sterling isn't the reason really why this didn't go. I mean, he plays a small part, but for the most part, this is just players not understanding their role. Now you have Tucker here as well. Tucker's the running back. This will be a play action. I want you to read all of this and understand this because I'm going to go back after I show the full clip and tell you where it went wrong. That's what Mike Evans' job is. He's going to streak to the end zone and he's going to score. Let's take a look at why it went down. Sterling goes in motion. Play. Mike Evans left wide open. Why? How can you leave one of the most dominant receivers in all of football wide open? Let's take a look. We mentioned it. Sterling goes in motion. Play action pass. It's obvious this is not a man-to-man coverage right now. It's zone, and Brandon Stephens has his own assignment. Let's take a look at what happens. Pay attention to the running back. Play action. He stops. Right now, we have a receiver streaking. Marcus Williams is responsible for this guy. He does a good job. Brandon Stephens is to understand what this receiver is trying to do and who it could be impacting. Of course, the receiver could be streaking out to the right side, and it could be Eddie Jackson's responsibility. But for the purpose of this, understand that Brandon Stephens needs to understand what the offense is trying to do. Play action play. Now we have the running back. We mentioned him, Tucker. Play action. He's going to sit here and help protect Baker Mayfield while Mike Evans goes on the streak. Keep the play going. Now you understand it's a chip play. For whatever reason, Brandon Stephens' eyes are still in the backfield where Baker Mayfield is going, probably to anticipate the pass. But in doing so, he also looks at the running back. He can see both. I mean, this is his field of view, right? You can see all this. So he's paying attention to that. His primary concern needs to be Mike Evans. But it's not. Keep going. Running back leaks. This now becomes the responsibility of the linebacker, not Brandon Stephens. But for whatever reason, Brandon Stephens anticipates this pass going to the running back, and Stephens is thinking, okay, I have to go down and provide support. Maybe the safety will cover this guy. But he forgets about the other receiver. Marcus Williams already has responsibilities of his own. Stephens' job should be to cover Mike Evans at all costs. But that's not what happens. He slows down. He tries to anticipate where he's going to the ball instead of trusting his man to cover his assignment. He's worried about potentially offering support instead of your main objective, which I'm sure was hampered all week. Do not let Mike Evans beat you. Mike Evans beats you. Touchdown. So I think this is a problem that the Ravens have had all season. Communication, yes, but also trusting the guys around you. You saw Michael Parsons after the Ravens game with the Cowboys talk about trusting your man. It's very difficult to do so sometimes, but when you play a team like the Ravens, you have to trust that the other guys around you are doing their job. Brandon Stevens needs to trust his guy to get the job done. Instead, he assumes that Marcus Williams potentially has. Mike Evans covers and goes on to support. Should have focused on Evans. Trusted the linebacker has Tucker well in hand. Baker Mayfield doesn't even go his way. He goes to the streaking wide over Mike Evans anyway. Touchdown. All right, this next play happens towards the end of the game. Bucks are fighting to come back. Whether or not there was wines, given the injury to Godwin, I'll leave it to you. But I will say that the Ravens have been playing very decent football from here on out. I showed you the first clip of Brandon Stevens pretty much not trusting his guy enough to follow his assignment instead of worrying about the potential throw that could come his way. He worries about the running back instead. In this situation, we see Roquan Smith. He's going to follow his assignment. Darius Washington has a job to do, and that's to cover this zone. In my opinion, I don't know the exact play. I'm not in the ear of the DC, but just based off what the other players do, you can assume that Darius Washington has a zone to cover, and it's right here. Roquan has the middle of this field. So on and so forth. Basic cover 3, cover 4. Looks like this is a cover 4 based on the way the corner's moving this one. But I want you to watch this from start to finish. Ball's hiked. White grabs it. Open. Touchdown. Blown assignment. Why was that assignment blown? Let's find out. Like the ball. Let's stop right here. This is a situation where you need to communicate, understand what the offense is doing, understanding what your assignment is. Darius Washington follows this receiver as if it's man coverage. Roquan follows this receiver as if he's responsible for this zone. I think Roquan Smith was right here. He was supposed to do his job. Darius Washington should have realized that White was moving here, understanding that he needs to stay in his zone, defend it. And this play isn't a touchdown whatsoever. Maybe it's a game. You know, the boys have to get their money too, but as far as a touchdown, ain't no way if Darius Washington does his assignment. Not only that, but this receiver isn't predisposed to cross. Darius Washington has to understand that there's a chance this guy can just simply do a comeback. And a cover 4, he'll have support here, the corner will believe, if Darius Washington follows his assignment. Now, again, I have to preface, I do not know the defensive play call, but just based on what I'm seeing on this field by the other 9 guys on the field, he's going to believe that it's Darius Washington's job to cover this zone. He doesn't. Maybe he assumes it's man. Maybe he assumes that White stayed back to block. Whatever the case is, blown assignment, touchdown, Bucks. These type of plays cannot happen in the postseason. These type of plays will kill you in January and February. Ravens got to get their act together. Okay, let's rewind back a little bit. That was the fourth quarter play the last time. This time, let's talk about some good, because Marlon Humphrey played out of his mind. He's not really known to be a turnover machine. In this game, he got into the mind of Baker Mayfield. Very well orchestrated, very well done. Right here we see the Ravens are playing zone coverage here. They just are. They like to do that, confusing the quarterback at times. Baker Mayfield understandably understands what's going on, but Marlon Humphrey gets the better of him. Let's look here in the corner. Look at his zone. Look at where he's supposed to be. Baker knows that. Baker understands that. Now we're in extension play time. We had this guy over here covering any strikes to Baker. Baker understands that the receiver leaks out. Baker sees it. Baker thinks that Marlon Humphrey is covering 88. That you have a wide open guy in the end zone. But remember week 1. Remember what we talked about? How you're supposed to sit in zone. You sit in zone and you're good to go. What does Baker do? Baker throws it to the outside. The receiver leaks out. And Marlon Humphrey makes a great grab. I think that play is easily made, or depending on the arm strength of Baker Mayfield, this play is likely 6 if the receiver stays here. I'm not sure if Marlon has the time to get here as opposed to walking with the receiver as he makes his way to the corner of the end zone. It's way easier for Marlon to make this play if the receiver's moving. That's why we tell these receivers, sit in zone, sit in the pocket of the zone. Let's clear this yellow. Look at all this space. Look at all this space. You just had to get it over this linebacker for an easy score. Sit in the zone. Receiver doesn't do that. He leaks out. Interception. Great play by Marlon. All right. I love the first interception by Marlon so much, I decided I'd show you the second one. This is obviously a great play by Marlon Humphrey, but also a bad throw by Baker. I didn't get a chance to show you on this clip, but they actually had K-Dot motioning over here. So now we have 3 receivers at the bottom of the screen, and then we have 1 at the top for Baker Mayfield to work with. Let's hike the ball, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Ball is hiked. Otten leaks out, and look at all this open space. Now, I need to mention that this is 3rd and 13. First down marker you see is over here at the 45-yard line. So he has a ways to go. So Baker just has to go for it and make an attempt at throwing it to this receiver. I will say that if they get the ball to K-Dot here, Otten could potentially get past Humphrey, and you have a smaller Nate Wiggins. There's a chance he can get the first here, if not the first and short of the first down. And then you have a situation where you're probably going for it on 4th, something that the Bucs did a lot in this game. But that's not what happens. Baker decides to make the throw. Marlon makes a good play on the ball. Nate Wiggins tried to get the ball as well. They bump into each other. This is actually where the injury occurred with Marlon Humphrey, but he does get the pick. It's a bad throw by Baker, but great ball skills by Marlon Humphrey, showing that he still is that dude, and he deserves a respect. Great play. Okay, we talked about the defense. Let's get into the offense. I could have shown us like so many plays. I mean, Lamar Jackson threw 5 touchdown passes. I could talk about the Ravens passing attack and rushing attack all day long. Let's focus on this one play. This is the Rashad Bateman touchdown grab. Let's take a look at it from start to finish before we dissect. Lamar Jackson sits back, throws a bomb. Beautiful pass to wide open by NFL standards, Rashad Bateman. Touchdown. Okay. Let's talk about it because there's a few things we see here. One, this is basically a zone coverage. Now, based on the way the corner plays Rashad, there's a chance this could be man coverage on the receiver, and the rest of the DBs are responsible for different zones and what have you. This safety plays pretty much around here. Doesn't really play high. This kind of turns into a cover 3 situation, but I think at least the way it looked on the initial glance was this was a man coverage by the corner here, and then the rest are responsible for their varying zones. This safety has the ability to cover here, but if you watch the play, you'll see he's not covering anybody. All of this is intermediate stuff except for Rashad Bateman, who makes a beautiful in and out route to get that score. Another thing I want you to pay attention to is where the line of scrimmage is. It's at the 49-yard line. Bucs territory. Lamar Jackson's 5 yards away from the line of scrimmage in shotgun formation. Right now, he's at the 44-yard line, 46, I should say, of the Ravens territory. So about 5 yards separates him from the line of scrimmage. When we hike the ball, he takes 5 steps back. Line of scrimmage, Lamar Jackson at the 40. 11 yards separates him from the line of scrimmage. About 7 yards separates him, 6 or 7 yards separates him from the pass rush. He basically has all day to survey the field. He has plenty of options he can go to. Of course, Lamar, thinking the way he is, he's looking for the big play, and he has plenty of time to let it develop. Sometimes the pass rush gets to Lamar, and he has to improvise or take the short stuff, which is fine. That's what Mark Andrews is there for. That's what Zay Flowers is there for. The intermediate stuff, and you can see this linebacker doing a good job of preventing that crossing pattern to be a factor. But this is pretty much 27 against Rashad Bateman. Rashad Bateman does a beautiful job feinting the potential cross here with the other receiver, and instead turns upfield. The safety decides to stay here. Maybe that's by design. Maybe he got fooled by the route by Rashad, but this turns to the 27's responsibility. The safety does make an attempt to help, but it's too late. Rashad does a beautiful job getting separation, and Lamar has so much time in the pocket. He can follow through and get as much air under that football as possible to get it to Rashad Bateman, and the rest is history. Beautiful pass, beautiful route, beautiful grab, touchdown. Phenomenal. Phenomenal job, phenomenal play. This is what you want to see from Lamar. This is the maturation. You give Lamar Jackson weapons. You give Rashad Bateman a chance to get healthy, gain their rapport with Lamar. And now you have another target in Rashad Bateman that defenses have to account for. A lot of times, Rashad Bateman is not the first read on these plays. He's a second or third. Now, I think Todd Monken needs to work on making design plays where Rashad Bateman is the first read. I know sometimes it takes a little bit for him to gain that separation for these big plays, but he has the skill set, the route running capability to get open. You got to take advantage of this skill set that Rashad Bateman possesses. And now that the connection is looking to be a match made in heaven, you gotta take advantage. Great play. We saw the touchdown pass by Lamar Jackson. Let's start, getting dirty with this offense. And when I talk about getting dirty, I'm talking about ground and pound. And there is no better illustrator of the ground and pound than number 22, King Henry. We got the beast known as Derrick Henry in the I formation. But this isn't really I formation. This is more like a strong formation. We got this guy, Patrick Ricard, beast of a fullback, ready to go. And Lamar's just going to hand it off and let him go to work. And that's all she wrote. Number 27 does a great job getting to him. Derrick Henry wasn't very happy about getting caught, but you did your thing. Very impressive run. Now let's look at it from this angle. You got Charlie Kolar to the left of Ronnie Stanley. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We mentioned it on the podcast. Buccaneers love to run heavy box formations. Stop the run. You're inside your own 15. Stop the run. If you're the Bucs, good luck. Good luck stopping this guy. Ball's hiked. You get safety help automatically. If this was a play action, the Bucs would be screwed. That's why they're so poor at play action, because they sell to stop the run so frequently. But good decision. It's a handoff. Watch the safety, though. Patrick Ricard does his job. The way this line is able to move towards Derrick Henry to provide support, impressive. But watch the safety. Watch the safety. Over pursues. I'm not touching that guy. And it's just a foot race. Good job by 27 to come over there and stop him well short of the goal line. But whew, how do you stop Derrick Henry in this offense with that quarterback? You can't. Look at Tylan Wallace go. Hoofing. Great play. Great play. All right, final clip of the day. just want to show you how demoralizing it is to have to deal with Derrick Henry. Now you have to deal with him as a pass catcher. Talk about, oh, Derrick Henry can't catch the football. Got to give it to Justice Hill. Sometimes pass the ball to Derrick Henry, and I'll show you why. Look at Henry. That's all you need to focus on here. Henry, wide open. Do you know why it's bad that Derrick Henry's wide open like this? One, it's obviously a blown assignment by the Bucs, and this is late in the game, so the Bucs are tired. But also because if he's left wide open like that, full head of steam. And who wants to tackle Derrick Henry? None of them. No one barely lays a hand on this guy. Fourth quarter, you're down big. I'm tired. Get this big guy out of here. I'm not touching him. I'm not touching Derrick Henry. Easy score. So sometimes it's okay to pass to the big guy. He got hands. He plays football. Beautiful. I don't blame these guys for not touching him. What am I going to get ran over on Monday Night Football? No, thank you. That's going to do it for us here at Pivotal Moments. Again, Ravens pick up a huge victory. Loved what I saw from the offense. Some things from the defense. Continues to be a work in progress. Communication continues to be an issue. We'll talk about that on the show later this week. But who's stopping this team? It wasn't the Bucs. I don't think there's a team out there that can stop them. Maybe those boys in Pittsburgh have something to say about that defensively, but it's looking dicey. This team is firing on all cylinders. Thanks for joining us. See you next week.